Imagine having a midlife crisis so bad you kidnapped your neighbor, stole his identity, and started dating your coworker's daughter. If you didn't end up in prison, you'd definitely end up on a list. But in this case, it'd be a top 10 Halloween couples, because no matter how much he's the villain of his own story, Jack Skellington and Sally are iconic, and here's a video about them.
It's simply meant to be.
This is Sarcastic Chorus Halloween edition. To celebrate my favorite season of the year, I'm gonna be doing all couples from spooky horror-themed franchises all month. These vids will be in no particular order, so don't make any assumptions about what I favor more over the other. I just want an excuse to binge scary nostalgia for profit. With there being no better couple to start the series off with than couple goals incarnate, Morticia and Gomez Addams. But since I don't trust y'all to press play, we're starting with the Hot Topic icons Jack and Sally.
This is Halloween.
Now, for all 12 of you that haven't seen A Nightmare Before Christmas, the film is based around a universe that is similar to our own, plus the holiday dimensions, where all the associated seasonal monsters and folklore live, in the central location of the story, Halloween Town. Not you. Better. This place is pretty much a cult, with the whole community dedicating every second of their lives to Halloween in all of its forms, which shouldn't be that surprising when the people there look like this. Witches, vampires, ghouls, and the monster that is definitely standing behind you. These people relish in all things spooky and scary, but despite their job of traumatizing children, they're actually pretty nice overall. As you'd expect from a town who's made one day out of the year their whole identity, the annual Halloween festival is a massive deal, with everyone gathering to show off their stuff and trying to be as scary as possible, but they all know who the real MVP of Screams is. This is Jack Skellington, 7 foot tall, and with my build, Jack is the lead performer and the highlight of Halloween. But once the show is over, everyone starts their second favorite pastime, dick riding Jack. With the whole town convinced he's the best thing to ever happen, this man is trying his best like, guys, it's a team sport, but they just give him all the credit, putting him up so high on a pedestal no one can see that Jack is miserable. This is the heart of Jack's problem. Halloween Town is based around Halloween. They start playing the next one the day after the last, so at no point can anyone get a break from it. With Jack suffering a bad case of burnout that spiraled into a midlife crisis, wailing in the graveyard as the man is just becoming depressed. He's just too good at his job that it's basically easy mode for him. So to make it fun for himself, he's gotta be creative. With these last few years just feeling stale and repetitive, just going through the motions, which is an issue every creative knows, but unlike YouTube where you can just take a break or do a weird ass video to break yourself out of a funk, he's trapped delivering the same type of show to the same people, who are so busy loving him that he's paradoxically left with no one to talk to. Everyone is still high on Halloween, the only person he has a vent to is his dog. At this point, he has admirers, no friends. However, there is one person in town who understands what it's like to feel unfulfilled, stagnant, and not treated like a person. The only real difference in her situation is that it's way fucking worse. This is Sally, another denizen of Halloween Town, and the only one who should be complaining right now. Created by Dr. Fickelstein, a patchwork Frankenstein doll stuffed with dead leaves, she hasn't married Jack yet, but she's already a queen, as the doctor who gave her life won't let her have one, but she still finds a way, and by way, I mean poisoning his ass, then leaving out the front door. She can only do this sparingly, so she has to make it count, before the old man comes to and physically drags her back home. And if you're wondering why, he doesn't have one. Only giving excuses like being outside during the one day of the year where everyone hangs out is too much excitement for her, while refusing to give her any choice in the matter, insisting it's just a restless phase, and she'll get used to never leaving the house. And she'll be able to focus on her real passion, cooking his meals and being his live-in servant. The whole situation is super fucked, but it puts her in a position where she can understand what Jack is going through. The sensation of being restless, of not being fulfilled with your current role in life. That quiet agony of doing the same goddamn thing year after year. But while Jack is making magic, she's making meals, then poisoning them. Everyone else in this town has their own autonomy. They can choose to be the scary thing that they are, to have fun in the celebration. But Sally and Jack don't have that same level of choice. Sally is being treated like a house cat that does chores, and that's the polite word for it, with everything that she does happening on her owner's schedule, while Jack is trapped by the social contract and expectations of everyone else, being that he is the Pumpkin King. He has to be the star, has to plan out all the scares, with even the elected officials looking to him for leadership. But the thing he used to have fun with has now become an obligation, and he just can't keep doing it anymore. Sally accidentally mishears Jack bearing his soul as she was hiding in the graveyard at the time, and Sally, get this out of the way, has a massive crush on Jack. She has been in love with him since who God knows when. But she falls in love even harder when she realizes that someone else in this town is miserable, and he's already my type. But being too shy to go and talk to him about this, she eventually just has to wander back home, while Jack wandered into the woods, where he finally has found something to almost break him out of his funk.
What's this? What's this?
Yeah, years of living in this town and no one bothered to walk in the woods. But having stumbled into another holiday-themed world, the sight of something that wasn't covered in cobwebs gives him excitement as it's freaking new. And that just sense of discovery, that sense of, oh my god, what is this? Is something he hasn't felt in a while. And Christmas is just total cultural shock to him, and he just gets those warm fuzzies. And wanting to share this with everyone else back home, he does the rational thing of making Christmas his whole identity and stealing as much merch as he can. Meanwhile, Sally is setting the record straight with her captor.
That's twice this month you've slipped deadly nightshade into my tea and run off.
3 times.
Love that. Love that she just had to let him know about the one time she got away with it. Pure confidence. This guy can suck it. I also love how she doesn't even bother to hide the nightshade she uses to poison him. She labels what it is and puts it on the second shelf where she knows he can't see. And she's got this down to a science. She knows what to put in the soup, how to cover it up, and is even packing a spoon with holes for when she has to fake a taste test. Knocking him out to just go out, Sally is just in time to catch Jack's presentation on the new culture he's appropriating. Only problem, no one has any frame of reference for anything that isn't Halloween. With the people interpreting all the Christmas traditions as something horrific, Jack just wants to make these people happy and just have them even tentatively give it. This is completely his thing, but he wants other people to enjoy it. So he doesn't correct them, he just rolls with it, describing Santa as this giant monstrosity, with only Sally sensing something's off here. As while she doesn't know what Christmas is, she can recognize a pivot, and she actually kind of vibed with his initial pitch. Jack's Christmas high, though, wears off as he realizes he has a new obsession, but doesn't understand what it is. Getting trapped in his own head while Sally is trapped in her house, the doctor's a dick, and he realizes he can't let her go 5 for 5 this month. Leaving a little bit of corporal punishment will get her to fall back in line. It doesn't, as no sooner does she see Jack's glow up does she escape her tower to give Jack just a cute little care package, vanishing though as soon as she gives it, with the empty skulled idiot not seeing the emotional significance of the gift, that someone would actually reach out to him, who's riding this high after finally gathered the courage to do a thing for her crush, playing Does He Love Me or Does He Not with a flower. Then she realizes she may be riding a bit higher than she expected. Yet, Sally has visions. Don't question it. We're in a magic holiday land where a rag doll is in love with a skeleton with a ghost for a dog. This doesn't even make it to the top 10 weirdest things in this scene alone. The vision, though, is a warning that this whole Christmas phase is gonna crash and burn, with those fears becoming reality as Jack transitions into the villain of his own story. Frustrated over not being able to understand Christmas, and not being able to feel just that same level of oh my god when he found Christmas Town the first time, he starts to aggressively research the holiday, and ends up just getting lost in the aesthetic and trappings of the season. He's looking at stockings wondering, why does this make me feel warm and fuzzy? He's having this whole mental breakdown over not understanding why these Christmas ornaments do what they do. He's really in love with the Christmas season, the different culture around it. This giving warm gifts, not to scare people, but to bring them joy. It's the trees for the forest kind of situation. I mean, this man's already stolen a bunch of shit, so I feel like him deciding he needs to steal Christmas to be Santa isn't that much of a logical leap for him. As in his mind, Christmas was a thing that reignited his passion for creativity, so it must be even better then if he does Christmas. And this is the point in the story where he crosses the line and makes his problem everyone else's. rallying the town to start preparing for Christmas, we get a great example of the legally blind leading the blind, as Jack still doesn't understand or explain the point of Christmas, that it's not about scaring people. So while he gives everyone jobs and brief notes, it only serves to make things scarier. Jack is a passionate guy and is wrapped up in this project, and it leaves him unable to listen to the town's better half when she tries to warn him this is a mistake and she's seen something. She's trying to tell him that she had a vision, that something's about to go wrong, and all he hears is like, oh no, you see, your vision for my costume, it will be easy, it'll be so easy. And she doesn't take the extra step to clarify, like, no, this is about the holiday as a whole. The whole 2 months going by with her trying to subtly warn him that we shouldn't do this. You try to tell him like,
Jack, I know you think something's missing, but...
Ow. Jack is completely up his own ass at this point. He's just so in love with this project he can't see anything else. It's like not narcissistic, but he has gone full tunnel vision for Christmas. And Sally, she is trying so hard to soft convince him that this is a mistake, but what she really needs to do is put her foot down and say, stop being an idiot. You need to find a healthier way of going through this. But Sally's a bit timid, and she doesn't really feel like she is at that level with Jack personally to tell him not to do this. Everything that said, I really do enjoy this dynamic, and I hate the dumb dad nag wife dynamic. I do, done to death. We can do better. But what I like here is that Jack is the emotional artist who gets so wrapped up in his everything. And Sally wants to support him. They're both intelligent. Jack's problem comes when he has an idea like this, he has to grasp it with both hands. He needs to do this. And that's at the detriment of everyone else around him. He's still super cordial to everyone, and he doesn't have any bad intentions, but he can only see everything that can go right and not the massive way this could all go wrong. With Sally being there to be the reminder like, hey, I'm gonna support you. I wanna help you do your thing, but we also need to make sure you don't die. I mean, the man has kidnapped Santa, dressed up like him, and is refusing to even admit he's the Pumpkin King anymore. He's completely rejecting his own identity to bet all in on this cosplay. With Sally realizing shit, she can't talk him out of this, throws a Hail Mary and create a fog to keep Jack and his bootleg reindeer from taking off. Unfortunately, he has a ghost with a shiny nose, and it's Rudolph time, and it goes terribly. He's ruined a whole generation of kids. More importantly, Sally got her own song, which I would play if copyright didn't keep fucking me. It's about her fears, wondering if Jack even notices how she feels, framing Jack as this dear friend, showing that she does value him as a person rather than just being in love with this local celebrity. She sees the money, but it's the tragic, tortured soul underneath that she has a thing for. And she doesn't believe that Jack and her will ever be a thing, feeling that she isn't the one. It's sad, but it's also kind of beautiful in that this is a sad love song, but it's about a love that never was or may never be. Sally, for all of her amazing qualities, being proactive and escaping her shitty home life, still doesn't think too highly of herself. Getting nervous, hiding when the doctor appears. When she talks to Jack, she tries to bring up her warning, but when she realizes he isn't listening, she kind of just drops it. She's not meek, but that shyness really is holding her back here, which is insane because she's the best one here. She's been living on her own since she ran away to give Jack the bottle art. That takes guts and courage, but she doesn't recognize the W, that she's been able to do all these things, that she's been able to help out despite what her creators said. The man thought she wasn't shit, and she's been proving him otherwise, but she hasn't internalized that. There's a sense of isolation to her that she can't enjoy what everyone else is enjoying, and she wishes she could ignore her bad feeling. She wishes that she could believe that everything was going to be okay. She feels like an outsider because she was raised like one. Despite people, even Jack, knowing who she is, she's never been really allowed to join in with the community. Besides a few moments she's been able to sneak out. This leads to her thinking of herself as an outsider, even when the people around her think of her as a friend. And while Sally is having this whole soliloquy, Jack's new act is bombing. Yep, she was right. So Jack, yes, his whole plan completely traumatized children. Sally realized the shit show she was watching and ran to rescue Santa Claus from the boogeyman, and she nearly had him too. Sadly, this is still Jack's story, who just got shot out of the sky and finally hit rock bottom. realizing just how much he screwed up, with the concussion probably giving him enough clarity to see what he's actually been doing. Instead of Christmas joy, he was bringing just another version of Halloween. He almost gets mad at the townspeople too for not getting, but then he bounces back. Immediately. This man goes from bury me and throw away the key to YOLO in like 30 seconds, and it's honestly impressive. But that's the beauty of recovering from burnout, working on a different project and nearly dying. Invigorating for the mind. Remembering the reason for his performance every year, that he's here to give people a good show, to make it exciting, that he is Jack the motherfucking Pumpkin King, not Santa. He's able to go through the experience filled with new ideas and just a new vigor for Halloween. He's over his crisis and realizes he needs to fix his mess, rushing to save Santa from Oogie Boogie, who's really only here because if we didn't have a worse villain, people might realize that Jack's the antagonist. But he saves the day, kills the other monster, and Santa flies off to set everything right, leaving Jack and Sally alone together to have a real conversation for the first time.
Can't believe I never realized that you...
This face. This is the face of someone about to commit murder. She's waited the entire movie for this moment, and these chuckle fucks ruined it. Thankfully, in the end, Jack realizes the doctor is dating himself, going to Sally, and they meet again in the same graveyard the film started. With it finally clicking in his little head that the warnings, the fact that she went to rescue Santa to save him.
I'd listen to her. She's the only one who makes any sense around this insane asylum.
Santa's seal of approval. Jack finally realizes she loves him and he can't do better, so might as well.
Is simply meant to be.
Really though, love this finale. Sally spent the entire movie chasing this guy only for him to rightfully come to her. I will say that this film is not really giving me much to pitch for them having chemistry. Sally's in love, and Jack is in love with Christmas till the literal last 3 minutes of the film. Sally's the real hero of this thing, and Jack's the reward. He's gonna be trouble, lots of money though. You don't get called the Pumpkin King and not make bank. Honestly, one of the things I really was shocked by rewatching this, the movie is really short. It's only like an hour and 12 minutes. This story has been cut to the bone, and honestly, I wish more films were like this, and not pretending to be TV shows. More than anything though, you gotta just love the aesthetic of these two. Nightmare Before Christmas is iconic, and its entire monster cast are freaks except for these two. So yeah, I can see why they would get together. Jack is this goofy pencil-thin skeleton man, while Sally's this patchwork Frankenstein monster with beautiful red hair. They were simply made for Halloween costume couples. The film and its characters are simple but it's succinct. Jack is a disaster of a being who is tired of doing the same thing. Sally is a tragic shy girl who you feel terrible for and only want the best things to happen to. I love Sally as a character, and I'm so happy that when they made a book sequel, they made her the main character. Haven't read it? Don't think I will, because some of the stuff is a little bit but I really just love the vision of these two. Not everything has to be super deep, not every story needs to really sell me on these two are perfect for every single X, Y, and Z reason. Sometimes you just need a couple sad songs and a beautiful duet, and I'm sold. I love seeing them together, I love watching this film, and these two are truly iconic. They put a nice emotional bow on this whole film, and I am definitely worried about Jack getting way too into St. Patrick's Day next time he can't get a video done. But I love them. And apparently they have kids according to the soundtrack. Weird that that's where that information comes from. But sometimes you just have a soft spot for a couple, and this is definitely mine, which makes them totally worth it. Thank you all for watching. I am going to be doing Halloween themed couples this month. Some of them are tentatively Halloween couples, just horror and scary movie franchises. Trying to keep it all short though, as I am still trying to work on the bigger video for November. But stay tuned, subscribe to find out when those will drop, and thank you all for watching. Goodbye, have a good one.